Hello everyone. I Assistant Professor Pragati Shetty from Department of Microbiology, KJ Somaiya College. In the last online lecture, we have started the study of the hepatitis B viruses. Okay. In the last online lecture, we have studied till the epidemiology of the HBV. Now we will start with the laboratory diagnosis of the HBV. Okay. Now, as we discussed in the previous lecture, what are the steps in the laboratory diagnosis? First will be the specimen collection or the sample collection. Now, what will be the sample in this disease? The sample can be the blood sample or the serum sample. In the blood sample, what we will be able to determine? Antigens, proteins, the viral particles, right? And in the serum, what will be able to determine? Antibodies that are produced against that virus, right? Now in this laboratory diagnosis of the HBV, we will be dealing with the serological testing. Okay, after we collected the sample, right, for the infected patient, we will determine the virus or the presence of the virus, confirm the infection by serological ways. We will do the serological testing. Now for doing that, what things or what are the antigens or the proteins we should determine, right? Which are the proteins that are present in the blood and in the serum. So these are the antigens that are present on the viruses, right? We know which antigens are present in the HBV, HBs antigen and the HBe antigen. In case of the HBc antigen, cannot be detected because it is present in the core. It is not exposed to outside, right? That is why it is not able to determine in the serological ways. Other antigens are able to determine by the serological testing. Okay. But its antibody, that is the anti-HBC, can determine. Okay. That is determined because that appears in the serum in a week or 2 weeks after the appearance of the HBs antigen. Okay. And therefore the HBC antigen is not able to determine the anti-HBC, the antibodies against that HBC can be determined. Okay, now look into the table. In this table there are the two infection stages. One is the acute and the chronic. Now we will be focusing more on the acute HBV infection. Okay. Now in the serological testing, the first and foremost antigen that will produce or that will be released in the body is the HBs antigen, that is from the virus. Okay, this is the primary antigen that is present in the body in the earliest infection or very recent infection, and therefore if the patient's blood will get detected with this antigen, then we can say that the infection is very recent or the current infection, the early phase, right? Then in case of the HBe antigen, that is the nucleocapsid antigen, right? See, HBc antigen, it is very inside, it is enclosed within the coat, the core coat. But HBe antigen, though it is the nucleocapsid antigen, but it is present outside. Okay, it is present outside the core. It is present in the capsid. That is why it is able to detect. Alright, it is not enclosed in anything, and therefore we are able to determine this antigen. Okay, then HBe antigen, that is also appears in the blood concurrently with the HBs or after the HBS production. But the first one antigen, that is the first marker we can say first marker is always HBS antigen. Okay, after that HBe antigen for the diagnosis, right? Then IgM antibodies are against the HBC. Therefore, now these antibodies, that is the anti-HBCs, are produced during the early as well as the window phase, the moderate. Okay, and therefore if we determine these antibodies, then we can say that the infection can be recent or can be moderate. All right, that is not very recent. Then IgG marker, that is the anti-HBC marker. This is the antibody, all right, against the HBCAG core antigen. I have mentioned the HBCAG is not able to detect, right? Why it is not detected? Because it is present, it is enclosed within the core. That is why it is enclosed in a coat, right? Whereas the other, that is the HBe antigen, it is not enclosed in anything, it is open antigen, and that's why it is able to determine, or it is able to get detected using the serological testing, right? Then yes, then we are on the anti-HBC. Now if we detect anti-HBC are present or are developed, produced in the recovery phases, right? During the recovery, these antibodies will be produced by our body. Then anti-HBS will be also in the recovery phase, anti-HBe will be also in the recovery phases. Okay, and the HBV DNA, that is the whole viral presence, right? Virus presence of the virus we can determine. Now the virus will be present at which stages? Early stages and the moderate stages. In the recovery phase, the virus will not present. All right, why? Now in the recovery stage, the antibodies will do their work and they will remove the HBV virus from the body, right? Therefore it is called as the recovery, right? And therefore the recovery stage will not having the HBV. Okay, now the methods we can use for this can be the PCR, the ELISA, right? This methods we can use to carry out the serological testing, or any specific rapid diagnosis may also can be available for the diagnosis. Okay, then with the help of the PCR or the DNA to DNA hybridization, we can also quantify the amount of the virus present in the body. Okay, and one more point is the HBV DNA level in the serum reflect the degree of viral replication in the liver and therefore help us to chart the progression of the patient with the chronic hepatitis under the medications. This point is for the chronic HBV infections. Okay, in the chronic one, you can see there are the interpretations are different, right? And the presence of the antigens and the antibodies are also different levels. Okay, the more important is the acute HBV infection. You can study the chronic HBV infection also with the help of this chart. Okay, this is the laboratory diagnosis of the HBV detection. Okay, now the HBs antigen used as the general marker, right? As I have mentioned, it is the first marker that is produced in the body, that is released in the body, therefore calling as the general, right? The most important marker. Then HBs antibody against that antigen, HBs antigen, that will be present recovery, right? Recovery stages. See, anti-HBC, anti-HBs and anti-HBE will be present in the recovery phases, and anti-HBC only, we have two antibodies for the anti-HBC, IgM and the IgG. Among that, IgG will be in the recovery phase and IgM will be the early and the window phase, moderate phase, right? Alright, then the HBV DNA, what it will indicate? It will indicate the active replication of the virus, more accurate than the HB antigen, especially in the cases of the mutants, and used, this is mainly for responding to the therapy. See, by looking at the presence of this HBV virus particles, we can chart the progression of a person. If the virus particle is getting reducing day by day or week by week, then we can say that the progression is occurring due to the medications in the person body, right? Therefore, it is very important parameter, the HBV DNA, right, to determine to assess the progression of the person recovery, right? This is the laboratory diagnosis for the HBV. Now we will see the prophylaxis of the HBV. What comes in the prophylaxis? In the prophylaxis will be the treatment, the preventions that we can take, the measures that we can use, and the treatment, the medications that we should do. All right, now the treatment, or we can say the medications, what are they? The interferon, okay, interferon for the HBe antigen positive carrier, responses rate is very less, that is 30 to 40%. Okay, the chronic diseases in rate of the progression is little bit less than the acute diseases. Okay, now what are these drugs that are available for the treatment? First is the lamivudine. Lamivudine is a nucleoside, okay, nucleoside analog reverse transcriptase inhibitor. What it will inhibit? The reverse transcriptase. Reverse transcriptase is present inside the virus, therefore it will stop the virus replication. As the virus replication will stop, the infection will reduce down, right? Well tolerated, most patients will respond favorably with this drug. However, tendency to relapse on the cessations of the treatment is possible. Another problem is the rapid emergence of the drug resistance is also there with this type of drug. Okay, then next drug is lamivudine is a nucleoside analog reverse transcriptase inhibitor. It will inhibit the reverse transcriptase. It will inhibit transcription. Okay. Then second is the adifovir. Okay, it is also used to treat the HBV. Then anticavir, it is most powerful antiviral known, like the similar to the adifovir. See, adifovir is also very much effective antiviral drug that is available, and along with the adifovir there is the entecavir. All right, this is also most powerful antiviral drug known till date, this too. Okay, then successful response to the treatment will result in disappearance of the HBs AG, right, and the HBeAg and the HBV DNA, right. Now we should know the reasons. HBV DNA, HBs antigen, HBe antigen, these are the virus component, virus particles, the virus portions, virus proteins, and the viral particle that will reduce down and that will then disappears once the recovery reached completely, right. Therefore HBV DNA is a good parameter for determining the recovery, right, that we discussed earlier. Okay, now how we can prevent this disease or this infection? For prevention, what we do? We usually prefer the vaccines. So in this also the vaccines are available. First is there are the recombinant vaccines that are also present. Okay, and the passive immunization, the hyperimmune hepatitis B immune globulin, that is the HBIG. This is a very common vaccine that is present and that is prepared from the human volunteer which is having the high titer of the anti-HBs, antibodies against this virus. From that antibodies, from that human, the vaccine is prepared. Okay, and this vaccine is administered in the dose intramuscular of the 300 to 500 units. Okay, after the exposure to the infection, all right. See, this vaccine may not prevent the infection, but it can protect the further infection. Okay, then this is called as the passive immunization. Now what is active immunization? This is more effective. Okay, we have studied now HBIG. Now the active immunization also there. This is more effective than the passive one. The first vaccine, okay, that was made from the plasma of the healthy human carriers. See, carriers are those who doesn't get infection but who are play a role for transferring the virus particle or transferring the causative agents from one person to another, that are called as the carriers, right. Now the vaccine is currently preferred is the genetically engineered. This vaccine is made by cloning the S gene, surface gene of the HBV in the baker's yeast. Okay, as we know, S gene is the surface gene, surface antigen, right. Vaccine is the S gene, clones contain S gene clones. Okay, then it is also conjugated with the alum. All right, then the gluteal injection is not recommended. Then okay, so this active immunization, active means was the active particles are present there, and therefore we are taking this from carriers, right. Carrier will have the active particle of the viruses. Therefore cloning the S gene, then in the baker's yeast this vaccine is produced. Then the 3 doses of this vaccine are preferred at the 0 month, 1st month and the 6 months of the infection. Okay, or the that can be taken before the infection, 0, 1st and the 6th month. All right. Then we have the combined immunization, as we have discussed the recombinant vaccines, right? So these are also very effective vaccines. Okay. Then the other measures by which we can prevent this infection, which are they? We can screening the blood donors. During the blood transfusion we can test for this infection. Then blood donors, blood and the body fluid precautions we can take, right? These are the prophylaxis and these are the medication drugs available, right? Drugs and the vaccines that are available. Which are vaccines? Passive immunization in the HBIG vaccine, and the active immunization, the clones of the S gene of the HBV. Okay, S gene is present in the HBV, right? That will be the active immunization, right? Which is more active. And the other measures, such as the screening of the blood donors, blood and the body fluid, right? Then in the vaccinations, the highly recombinant effective vaccines are now available. As I mentioned, right, vaccine can be given to those who are at increased risk of the HBV infection, such as the healthcare worker, right? We have saw which group of people are at the highest risk, right? We have saw that in the epidemiology study of the same virus, HBV virus. And also it can given routinely to the neonates, right, as the universal vaccination. In the many countries it is now common, this vaccine, the recombinant vaccine for the neonates. Okay. And the HBIG vaccine is used to protect the person who are exposed to the infection, the virus. Okay, it is effective within the 48 hours of the incident. It can also be given to the neonates, to the babies who are at increased risk of contracting the hepatitis B. That means if a female is having the fetus inside her, growing fetus, and then if she is diagnosed or if she is tested positive for that infection, for this infection, then there is a risk for the baby, right, to get that infection. So at that particular stage we can give this vaccine to that baby. Okay. Then other measures, same as we have seen, the screening of the blood donor, blood and the body fluid precautions we can take, right? These are the vaccines, and these are the doses of the vaccines. For the infants, options are dependent on the status of the mother. In the mother fetus, right, the mother, if the mother is HBs antigen negative, birth, okay, then 1 to 2 and the 6 to 18 month, okay, the vaccine can be given to the baby. Then if mother is HBs antigen positive, then vaccine and the HBIG can be given within the 12 hours of the birth of the baby, 1 to 2 months of the baby, or less than 6 months of the baby. Okay. Then in the adult, it can be 0, 1 and the 6 month, right, that we have discussed earlier, 0, 1 and the 6 month. Then vaccine recommended in the all those who are aging between the 0 to 18 years, and those at the highest risk for this infection, those also can take the vaccine. Now in this online lecture we have studied the pathogenicity, right? The pathogenicity, then we have studied the antigenic variations, then the laboratory diagnosis, then we have studied the prophylaxis, right? Prophylaxis, then the treatment, the medications and the vaccines. I hope you understood this online lecture. If you have any doubt regarding this, please ask in the comment section. Thank you for watching.